In the midst of life's trials, we can find peace and strength in the presence of God. His word is our refuge, guiding us through the storms of life. Psalm 46:10 reminds us, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." In these moments of stillness, we are reminded that God is sovereign and He holds all things in His hands. When life seems uncertain, our faith may waver, but 2 Corinthians 12:9 gives us this promise. "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Even in our weakest moments, His strength is what sustains us, carrying us through difficulties that seem too heavy to bear. As we turn to Christ, we are invited into a new life full of purpose and hope. John 10:10 tells us, "I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." In Christ we find renewal, and we are empowered to live a life that is abundant with His peace and joy. This new life is not without challenges, but through His love and guidance, we can navigate them with confidence. Jesus invites us to come to Him for rest, for He knows the burdens we carry. In Matthew 11:28, He says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." In His presence, we find a rest that the world cannot offer, a peace that calms our anxious hearts and refreshes our weary souls. As we dwell in His presence, we are called to reflect His love and light to the world. Philippians 4:7 encourages us with the promise that the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. This peace is not something we achieve on our own, but something that God freely gives to us when we trust in Him. It is a peace that surpasses all circumstances, guarding our hearts and minds from fear and doubt. In our daily lives, we are invited to trust in God's faithfulness. As Psalm 23 verse 1 reminds us, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." He provides for all our needs, guiding us through both the valleys and the green pastures. No matter what challenges we face, His love is constant, His provision unwavering. When we spend time in His presence, seeking His guidance, we are renewed and strengthened. Isaiah 40:31 tells us, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." In God's presence, we find not only rest, but also the strength to persevere and overcome. As we quiet our hearts before Him, we realize that God's plan for us is greater than anything we can imagine. Jeremiah 29:11 reminds us of His promise. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." His plans are full of hope and goodness, and when we align ourselves with His will, we walk in the fullness of His purpose for our lives. Finally, as we live in the peace and strength of God, we are called to extend that love to others. Matthew 5:14-16 calls us to be the light of the world. "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." As we live in the light of His love, we shine that light to those around us, offering hope, love, and peace in a world that desperately needs it. May we always seek quiet time with God, trusting in His faithfulness, drawing strength from His presence, and living in the peace that only He can provide. Let His love guide our lives, and may we be a reflection of His light in the world.